We're with ABC News political director Rick Klein. Rick, welcome. Good to speak with you. We watched the Democratic primary the other night, which we carried here, and it's down to 10 for sure. But at this point in time, do you see anybody who's popping?
I think it's hard to break the dynamic that we've seen so far of Joe Biden versus maybe the rest of the world. Someone is going to emerge as that anti-Biden candidate. It seems like Elizabeth Warren may be best poised to do that. I think it was one of those debates that probably didn't change the overall dynamics, but it showed a path forward, and that path is going to be filled with a whole lot of divisive content. There are a whole lot of generational and ideological barriers and points of disagreement that you start to see emerge among those candidates. And one of them wants to obviously upend what has been a very static race with Joe Biden as the front runner.
Yeah, you look at that, and there seemed to have been some discussion beforehand. It's like anything that's used in these debates, whoever comes out of this, that's going to be used against them, with the bigger, obviously, goal is to unseat the president.
Yeah, I heard from a lot of Democrats in the wake of the debate concern about anyone's ability to do that, whether any of the candidates on the stage can beat Donald Trump. We know that that is the foremost priority among voters. They take it in different directions in terms of who they think is the most electable, but that is a big priority, and it is powering Joe Biden's strength so far, the perception that he is, quote-unquote, more electable than his rivals. That only lasts as long as the polls buttress that, but so far so good for the former vice president.
Well, you look at the polls. Right now you have 4, maybe 5 people who are polling ahead of the president. So how important are the polls at this point, considering what happened in the general in 2016?
Yeah, look, there's always limitations. They do tell you who's in contention. They don't necessarily tell you who's going to win. There's a spotty record around that. Maybe half the time the front runner ends up winning this far out. And you only have to go back to 2007 and see the Barack Obama rise that no one saw coming in the polls early on. So I think you have to take all of it with a bit of a grain of salt and recognize that the voting starts in about 4 months. Once that voting starts, a lot of unpredictable things can happen. The key for these candidates is just to be part of the conversation, not become irrelevant. Keep your campaign alive until the voting starts.
Rick, what role do you see California playing in all this? We've moved the primary up a little bit this year to be more of a factor. What do you see from California?
It's an early voting state as far as I'm concerned. You have to rank it up there in importance with some of the other big states like Iowa and New Hampshire and South Carolina and Nevada, just because it sits there on Super Tuesday, the big prize, the fact that Senator Harris is among the candidates, the fact that Tom Steyer's from the state as well. It all adds up to me seeing a state that is going to have outsized, even for California, importance. A lot of candidates are already making campaign stops there, which is almost unheard of. All the media markets, the size, the scope, you cannot win the nomination without a big chunk of delegates out of California, maybe even the need to win California.
You mentioned Kamala Harris, the senator here, and being from California. Would you describe her support from California as being lukewarm?
Well, I don't think it's red hot. So somewhere in between, perhaps. I think she has shown signs of strength, and of course she's going to be the only person running for president who ran statewide and has won in the state of California. But her base of support, as you know, is in Northern California. That's not quite the same as Southern California or Sacramento, for that matter. So I feel like that's a piece of it. I also think that there's just too many candidates in that too diverse a state for one candidate to be able to lock it down. Even if someone is an enormously popular figure inside the state, inside the party in a state, that doesn't mean that you have the place wired. There's just too many constituencies, too many variables, and frankly, too many candidates to be able to bank on anyone on California winning.
A lot of people after the debate, Rick, were talking about Pete Buttigieg and his ability to connect with the voters, seems like he's not rehearsed. He doesn't seem to have a bunch of things in his back pocket that he's looking to bust out as a big moment. Where do you see him in all this? Does he have any chance at all?
Sure. I mean, I think you put him in the top 5 or 6 candidates, which is, if you're part of the conversation, you're in the ball game for the nomination. A lot of people are looking to see what that next move is. You're starting to see some differentiation between him and Beto O'Rourke on the issue of guns, for instance. I think people are going to be looking to see what else he can do. Frankly, he's raised too much money to just have to disappear. His urgency now is not the same as many other candidates that are just trying to keep the lights on, just be able to fund that next plane ticket or that next bus ride. He has the enviable position of being able to fund this campaign basically until the end, as long as he wants to go with it. He just has to present himself as the right choice at the right moment. You
talk about Pete Buttigieg and some of the others who maybe are polling 5th, 6th, 7th. Do you see any of them who may be staying in this for something different as a possible vice president? And who could they partner with in this whole where the dominoes fall thing?
I think it's folly to for any of them to try to game plan like that and say it's really a play for a cabinet position or something else. They're running for president because they want to win. That said, only one of these people, these men and women, are going to actually be the nominee. And I think in terms of where you can partner up, if you decide to go with someone else who's run for president, which of course there's no requirement to do so, there's some intriguing possibilities. I think a Biden-Harris team would make a certain amount of sense. I've heard people talk about that. I've also heard about Senator Warren and Senator Booker as an intriguing possibility. I think it's a fair bet that there won't be two white men on the ticket. I think just as a statement of fact about where the Democratic Party, where the country is in 2019, 2020, that probably won't happen. But it's going to be up to that nominee to decide, and based on whatever factors are there at the time. I do think that how candidates perform during this period can help to find the Veep stakes down the road, because you want to see who's formidable, who matches up, who looks good on a debate stage, and who offers the kind of change that you'd be looking to offer to the American people.
Well said. Rick Klein, ABC News political director. Rick, thank you for your time. Nice chatting with you.
Thank you, Walt. Appreciate it.